The Spot Track Podcast, talking sports contracts, the salary cap, and business of sports.
Well, everybody, welcome to the SpotTrack.com podcast. I'm Kevin Sylvester, along with a sniffling Paul Peck.
Oh, there you go. That's good radio.
Sorry about that.
Yes, exactly. Right number to use.
Battling a little bit of a cold here the last couple of days.
All right.
So.
We'll get you some people listening to their earbuds right now are going to get you some nose buds.
All right,
maybe.
gotcha.
Mike Giannetti, the founder of SpotTrack.com, is here, and we're going to do something which is, I think EJ Manuel's going to be happy with what we're doing.
Yeah, right?
Right?
Yeah.
We're going to go on every quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, we're gonna toe the line. Rather than try to be creative and different, we're gonna fall right in line with what people want, which is the quarterback position, and we're gonna go all in because really, you know, we're over halfway now in this year, and there's a lot of question marks. You've seen some moves made. We're gonna start with the Cardinals.
Right.
I mean, that's the top of the list here in terms of moves made because I had a couple of fun tweets with this team. This is a team. We're in Buffalo. This is a team that the Buffalo Bills could have been this team. The Buffalo Bills could have drafted a guy, signed Sam Bradford,
right,
had a veteran, didn't know who to put where and how much to pay who and all that good stuff. That's sort of what happened to the Cardinals this year. So let's just get right into it because obviously we're talking about Bradford being released. They're going to end up paying $32 million for these three guys this year, okay, to be one of the worst teams in the league. Again.
And so how much money, Rosen's contract's 4 years, 17.5 million.
Yep, he's going to get about a little over 11 with his bonus this year.
Okay.
Bradford's made just under $16 million to play 3 games for them.
Wow.
Yep.
But at the time of in the offseason, there was a lot of thinking that you needed to have a veteran quarterback to not have your rookie play, to mentor, blah, 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 all that stuff. So at the time when it was a signing, I think people were like, oh, yeah, that's a good move.
Who?
I don't know. Maybe because us old school NFL thinkers.
It makes sense. Okay, we talked about the Bills. It made sense for the Bills to pay $5 million for A.J. McCarron for that role. I don't think it made. If you're paying $20 million, $15 guaranteed to Sam Bradford, you're paying him to play.
Right.
Right.
You've got to play him.
But then you drafted a quarterback in the first round, which in this day means you play that guy.
Not really. In this day, because of the rookie wage scale, you can stand to sit him a year.
But nobody does that.
But that's antiquated, is what I'm saying. You literally just paid Sam Bradford $15.9 million for 3 games. That's not worth your time.
No, it's not.
So where is the business guy in Arizona stepping in to say, no, he's playing. He's playing at least 8 weeks, right? He's playing.
Well, he can't play, right? He hasn't been
but they're not winning.
No, but from what I read, Mortensen tweeted this. He hadn't been practicing. His knee is so bad. It's bone on bone.
Well, shame on anybody then for continuing to sign this guy because that's just been the story for 10 years, right?
Yeah, he's just physically shot, right? I mean, I could be wrong here, Mr. Bradford, but
I hadn't heard that. I had not heard any kind of injury was happening this year.
Yeah, no.
I
basically, his knee is. I want to say it was Chris Mortensen who tweeted this out yesterday. That his knee is basically bone on bone.
That's just unbelievable.
Just his history of injuries has just gotten to the point where it's so.
Well, I don't want.
But Mike, like you said, this is where what's interesting about the way the NFL is now. You have football people making traditional football decisions versus money people making smart money decisions, and each organization has to determine who they listen to. And here's a classic case because I can guarantee you, and I don't know it factually, but Steve Keim, the general manager of the Cardinals, said we got to have a veteran quarterback. We're going to draft one, but we don't want to have to play him right away. So you got to get me a veteran in here. You got to get me a guy who can win some games for me, who can keep our rookie on the bench, who can teach him, who can learn him. So that's the football decision. The money decision was what you just said. You're going to give Sam Bradford that? Well, then you better be playing him. But then as things move on, and like I said, in this day and age, you draft a quarterback in the first round, he is almost always playing within the first 6 weeks of the season.
All right, yeah, and here it is. Chris Mortensen tweeted, yesterday was November 5th, right? As we said on NFL Sunday Countdown, Sam Bradford had not practiced for previous 5 weeks in Arizona because the left knee is basically bone on bone. No cartilage on the knee that had 2 ACL repairs.
Wow.
Man.
So, but to your point, Mike. All right. So, what doctor says this guy's gonna be good, right? I mean, yeah. Let's give this guy a physical. He's had 2 ACL repairs.
All I'll say to you, Kevin, is that doctors say what doctors say, and football people sometimes listen and sometimes they don't.
But let's just round this back into money, right? Because even if the doctor says that about the knee, And even if the football people say we need the best veteran quarterback available, which is Bradford when he's healthy, right?
Right.
How do you get to $20 million?
I'll tell you how.
How do you get there?
Because other teams were interested, like Buffalo.
So who cares? Then let them pay.
Well,
right? Then let them pay.
But that's back to the football people who are like, oh, you got to get me that guy because there's not anybody else.
I don't know. I don't know.
Clearly, you wouldn't have done it for 20. I agree. First of all, I agree with you on $20 million.
It's just crazy.
Because he was discarded in Minnesota. He couldn't play above Case Keenum when he was healthy. Yeah. You know what's interesting? Minnesota had 3 quarterbacks last year, right?
Yeah.
And 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And they make the NFC Championship game, and they keep none of them.
All gone.
All gone.
All gone.
All gone. And but it's also interesting, the other night on the football game, they were remarking how much Sean Payton loves Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, of course.
Loves him.
A lot of people really do. That's sort of what drove this conversation today is where is he going to end up? Because he might fall into a situation that's really nice in 2019. I mean, really nice. I've got a couple of teams lined up here, but he's obviously going to be one of the top free agents available. There's going to be more, which we're going to get to in a couple of teams here, but let's finish off Arizona. It's Josh Rosen's team now, right?
Yes.
I mean, they paid their $30 million to get their showcase of whatever they were doing with. I think it's Josh Rosen's team. I think Mike Glennon probably stays next year. He signed, as a relatively cheap backup quarterback to Rosen.
Is there any doubt it's Josh Rosen's team? There shouldn't.
That's
be.
what I mean. I mean, obviously not.
Not at all.
Releasing Bradford was the right move even for money reasons. I mean, they weren't going to pay any more bonuses to Bradford to be active, so it's fine. I go back to March and I don't understand. Even if he's the guy, I don't understand that price tag, knowing you're going to spend another $20 million on a top quarterback in the draft.
As you said, as we sit here in Buffalo, I think that could very well have easily been the story here with Sam Bradford. They wanted him.
Yep.
They settled for A.J. McCarron. I think they definitely wanted him.
We'll get there.
The optics would have looked better. It would have looked better the way it's gone for Buffalo.
But
anyways,
I struggle with that.
But financially,
but Arizona and Buffalo are teams that are tanking. They're tanking.
Oh, they don't use that word.
I do. They're tanking. So for Arizona,
are the Raiders tanking? Yes, they're tanking too.
God, John Gruden is dying to say it into a microphone, isn't he? He's dying to say, "Listen, everybody, shut up. We're tanking.
Right.
We're moving this team, and we're tanking."
I think he's already basically said it. Look, I don't think I have a problem having guys who want to come play in Vegas.
No, I won't. No. Well, I don't know. He's got a reputation to restore because he is getting run through the mud right now. He is.
Because
he's not just cutting the players that should be cut.
He's cutting good ones.
He's cutting veteran defensive players. He's cutting people guys like. He's destroying the locker room. He's on thin water right now, in my opinion. He is.
With the players.
And he's got 9 years left in this contract.
I was going to say, he's
with the players.
Right.
You're talking about how it's going to be easy to get free agents to come here. Yeah, they've got $90 million to work with, but no, I don't think it's going to be easy.
Yeah, money talks.
Yeah, of course.
Money talks.
All
right, let's move on to we're done with Arizona. Is there anything to talk about with Atlanta?
No. I mean, Ryan is pretty locked in. They're going to need to upgrade Matt Schaub, I think, next year.
Right.
He's 38 somehow. I mean, my God, right?
That was a fast 38.
Jeez. But yeah, they'll probably – well, I mean, look at Ryan's locked in for about 4 more years in terms of that new contract, but it's going to be interesting to see when they start to think about the future there. It's going to be interesting. I mean, Ryan's not a young guy anymore.
Well, you have to think.
Can Ryan play to 40? Is he Tom Brady? Is he Drew Brees?
Well, I think the shots guys aren't taking anymore.
I think you're right.
I think it's helping longevity of quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And the protections that are built in around them.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, who wants to see careers ended early because of injury anymore and all the wear and tear like we're talking about with Bradford? Not that he's in that company, but I'm just saying
he was.
He was number 1 overall.
That's right.
Correct. Baltimore's interesting.
Really interesting.
Flacco, and then they drafted Lamar Jackson, and even RJ3 there is interesting.
Well, I thought he'd be on the trade block. I really did. I really think he would have been a viable backup for a team that really had a chance to compete this year because not only is Flacco going to be out, I think the whole coaching staff goes in Baltimore, from what I'm hearing.
Might be time.
Yeah,
right. Might be time.
It sounds like it's going to be a total overhaul in terms of the wouldn't say the front office is right. They're going to change GMs next year.
Ozzie Newsome is moving on.
So it's a logical time to really make some big moves.
By the way, Ravens fans who are listening, when it comes to coaches, there's only one thing. There's only two ways it ends. They retire or they get fired, right?
But look at though, that's a good thing. We need more of that. This constant turnover is terrible for the sport. It is. I mean, it's great for me because there's lots of player turnover that goes with it.
Right, and that's it. That's the reason why coaching turnover means player turnover. Absolutely.
But I don't know that anybody can sustain. I mean, look at when you're the Chiefs and you're the Rams and you just can't physically afford to pay certain guys. That's different, right? But the coaching staffs have to remain intact for 3-4 years to actually get this. I mean, that's one thing I like what Oakland did with Gruden. We talked about Gruden. They put this guy in cement and said, "This is your regime. Get it in order and then go." And that's obviously what he's doing. He's weeding out the guys he doesn't want right now so that he can get this thing in motion. But yeah, look, there's going to be turnover in Baltimore. It's been a few years coming. Here's a tidbit on Flacco, which there's been plenty, and there's going to be more. The past 3.5 seasons, right, including the first 8-9 weeks here in 2018, his passer rating is 82. 82. That's like Eli Manning stuff.
Yeah, that's not great.
He's made $73 million for the past 3.5 years.
Is he a starter in the NFL next year?
No.
And where?
That's where I couldn't get my head around because I think he might have to be, right?
Sure.
Like a team like Miami or Tampa.
Someone will feel like he's an upgrade.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think he's probably going to get a fair shake somewhere, but it won't be on this contract. That's for sure. He won't be a $30 million guy anymore. But he's made his money.
See the kind of veteran that John Gruden brings in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Rich Gannon style.
That's very nice.
Yes.
I like that.
Just a thought.
All right, let's end the show. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's walk off now.
Thank you, everyone.
No.
Good night.
Mic drop. Okay.
No, let's move on to these Bills. Let's do it. It's going to be quick, right? It's going to be quick. They've already done their damage.
Yeah, I mean it's Josh Allen,
Yeah.
and the only reason it's not Josh Allen at the moment because he got hurt and because they screwed up everything behind him.
Yeah.
But the future is Josh Allen. As soon as he's
Including
healthy,
next
he
year,
goes
right?
back. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No question about it. I mean, what other options do they have? I know there's some people that want to see them bring someone else or draft someone else. I would suspect they will bring in a veteran backup next year.
So they're not going to stick with Nathan Peterman?
Who knows at this point?
He's cheap.
Who knows? If they haven't gotten rid of him yet, then you have to wonder if they'll ever get rid of him.
Here's the thing, though, right? If you are a team looking to tank, Nathan Peterman's your guy, baby.
Yeah.
Right?
But
I mean, isn't that what the agent's selling out to
pretty
these
much.
teams, right?
Oh, okay.
Hey, Miami Dolphins, you're looking to be worse next year? I got a guy for you. Right? Don't spend your money on Jameis Winston.
He's replacing Peterman from Seinfeld. Peterman.
He
right?
may go from starter to not in the league next year.
How can he not? I'm completely joking.
I don't even know if anybody even will bring him in as a backup.
He can't play. He can't play at this level.
I'm not even sure that the American Alliance of Football would take him.
Yeah, this is not good. I mean, he's played enough snaps now to be considered one of the worst quarterbacks in the history of NFL football.
Yeah.
He's qualified.
And you know what's interesting? I saw an article with a guy that we don't want to call, gave him an 89% approval from the game, because he did what he's supposed to do.
Because the passes were tipped.
Listen, bad things happen to bad
right.
quarterbacks.
Yes.
Those are decisions that are made.
And
Bad
what an
teams.
article like that,
Yes.
Kevin, doesn't account for is the limitations that an offense has to call plays with a quarterback like that. So if all you're asking him to do is throw 4-yard passes, you can complete 89% of those, but you can't win throwing 4-yard passes.
Listen, I'll just let the facts tell the story, and he's not a good NFL quarterback.
No. End of conversation.
Right, and there's plenty of guys who had higher pedigree coming in that have been bad quarterbacks too. But they have to bring in a backup.
There's no
next
way
year.
Nathan Peterman should have jumped the season. There's no way he should have been on this team in 2018.
Correct.
They should have made the veteran backup move this year, whether it's Derek Anderson or not.
Or kept A.J. McCarron.
Or they should have kept A.J.
whatever,
McCarron.
I mean, if that was the guy they identified, then they should have kept him.
Well, here's my question with this, and we'll move on to Carolina here. For folks that don't know, we're in Buffalo, so that's why we're spending more time on this.
We could go all day.
A.J. McCarron wasn't happy about being a backup. Who cares?
Yeah.
A
Right?
backup here.
Right. No, I'm just saying, but his attitude was bad, so they traded him, did him a favor.
Yeah, exactly.
Do yourself a favor and keep him on your roster.
Yeah, we paid you. You're going to stay, right?
Damn right.
I mean, they gave him the bonus.
All right. Sorry. Let's move on to the Carolina Panthers.
Much
Cam
better
Newton.
situation.
And I'm
Much
Cam
better.
Newton's 29.
Cam Newton's 29.
Yeah.
Cam Newton loves Norv Turner. This has been a good year. I don't know if you've paid attention to Cam Newton. He's like MVP caliber good right now.
Yes, I have, and so much so he's wearing Norv Turner T-shirts.
Yeah, he's all in. This is a good system for him, and yes, he's only 29. So the point of bringing up Cam Newton is he's got 2 years left on that deal. He's gonna be paid again, big. I mean, Cam Newton's gonna have 3 big paydays.
Right,
big paydays.
And give him credit where he's playing more in the pocket.
Yeah.
Become more of a quarterback and less,
growing up a little bit,
less of a thrower.
Yeah. And it really puts Kelvin Benjamin's credibility nowhere, right?
Yeah, I like these new guys they draft. I like DJ Moore a lot. Funchess that can do some things still.
Samuel is an exciting player. You know, they're trying to figure out how to use him, and McCaffrey's just
phenomenal.
A unique weapon in the NFL.
They're going to need to replace Olsen.
Yes.
You know, and that's a weapon that Cam Newton likes to use. So that's probably going to be a high priority this offseason.
Wasn't there talk Olsen was it was between Olsen and Witten for Monday Night Football?
Yeah, I mean, both have been just banged up. I mean, Olsen's had so many injuries over the years now. He's probably dying to walk away from the game, honestly. But, yeah, that's a position. If they upgrade that this offseason, Cam Newton and that offense can hum. They can go. That's a sneaky team in 2018 right now.
And when you look at the Chicago Bears, you know, it's Trubisky.
Yeah, similar to Allen, but Trubisky's, step forward already now.
I like the
taking over that
steps he's
franchise.
taken in year 2. And
Me too.
I think that's for every team and fan base that has a rookie quarterback that is pulling their hair out. Look at Trubisky and look at the steps he has taken from year 1 to year 2 with the help of an organization that added weapons around him. And I think underrated, hired an offensive head coach who understands quarterback play.
I will say this. They did add weapons, but I'm not sure they were the right weapons yet.
Well,
I mean, the Allen Robinson thing has been a bust, which a lot of people could have seen coming, but it was a decent risk for them, for a team that needed a number 1. Anthony Miller's still young. He's going to break out.
He looks very good.
He's going to break
Impressive.
out.
Taylor Gabriel's been a good
Gabriel's
addition.
been a great move.
And Trey Burton's been great.
But my point is, they could probably stand and go and get themselves a number 1 receiver this offseason. A real one, a real, convincing number 1 receiver. And then Trubisky's steps forward could be huge from there.
When we look at Cincinnati, Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Your eyes lit up.
Yeah, this is This is going to be interesting because this could be a Baltimore situation for me.
Really?
Right? Doesn't this team have to make a step forward eventually?
I think the coach,
I know they all just got contract extensions,
Yeah.
but Dalton's free from here out. No dead cap.
Yeah, I think the coach goes before Dalton does.
I think they all go together.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, if I'm a new coach coming in, I'm starting over. Dalton's just fine for me. He's fine. But he's over 30 now. His contract is on the way out. I'm looking to draft the next guy there for sure.
Well,
for sure.
It's a very.
I can see that. I like Andy Dalton as a quarterback,
but I don't love him.
Nobody loves him.
And that's how I've always been
just
with
be
him.
careful as you try to search for something better that you'll wind up with something
The
worse.
New York Giants would take Andy Dalton right now in a heartbeat.
Fine.
I think half the teams in the league would take Andy Dalton right now.
I
That's an
agree.
interesting conversation.
I think they
Half
would.
the teams in the league?
Well,
Sure.
I'd have to. I'm throwing that out. If you really want me to dive in and go through
Jacksonville,
teams, we
New
can.
York.
Hold on. Half the teams in the league that want to win this year.
Let's say 10 to 12 of the
But he
teams in the
hasn't
league
won.
would want to. Yeah, but he's
been a playoff
won.
quarterback.
He's
Come on.
won. Now you have to define what you mean by winning. He's won a lot of games. He hasn't won any playoff games, but they've won a lot of games there.
Here's a. Let me throw this at you, Mike. Would you rather have Andy Dalton or Joe Flacco?
I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure.
Neither am I.
Let me tell you why.
I'm sure I would take Dalton without a hesitation.
It's super close
don't
to
know.
me because both have had great defenses over their last couple of years.
Yeah.
Both have had number 1 receivers. They've had them. I mean, they've been
Yes.
there. And Dalton's had an all-pro receiver.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, and
maybe 2
And
in
you got to
Sanu.
give him some of the credit for making A.J. Green an all-pro receiver, too.
Flacco's had.
Oh, come on, Mike. You can't not
hang
give the
on.
quarterback part of that.
Flacco's had a Hall of Fame tight end and a potential Hall of Fame receiver too that he's played with.
Yeah, it's
Sharp
it's
and
very similar to me. Those two
Right.
two trajectories. I just think we could be talking. People will be talking about if the Bengals fall off here, we're going to be talking: is Dalton sticking around or not this year, and definitely next year. Definitely next year, which is what happened with Flacco. Right? There was one more year to give him a leash. He was the same old Joe Flacco. He's going to be gone. I feel like if Cincinnati wants to be progressive, they cut bait quick. They cut bait now.
Well, I think they should draft a quarterback.
Yeah, they have nobody. It's Jeff Driscoll behind him. They've got nobody behind him right now in the system. So unless they're going to go and sign one of these guys we've talked about, which I don't know, that's not a Marvin Lewis thing to do, right?
No, I don't think. Listen,
It's not a Mike Brown thing to do.
All of it, really. None of it really works that way.
if they're not in the playoffs, Lewis is definitely gone.
Yes?
Yes. I'm surprised he was back. as head coach, Marvin Lewis.
I just, you have to. They think and act like no other NFL franchise.
You're right.
With Mike Brown and the tradition and the way they're run as a family, they don't operate like anybody else. So when they make decisions that don't conform with what everybody thinks, it has as much to do with the way they operate as anything else.
They do operate through the trade a lot, though. A lot. More than teams generally do. So if those kind of situations are available, even at the quarterback, what if Derek Carr's available? Right? What if Derek Carr's available? Is Derek Carr better than Andy Dalton? Let's finish the Bengals with that conversation.
Not right now.
I don't think so
but
right
he
now.
could be.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he could be.
He could be.
Well,
Because
maybe
Derek Carr's year 2 years ago was borderline MVP candidate.
Right.
2
Maybe-
years ago. So what's happened to him since then, I don't know, but I loved him. I would have put him in my top 6, or I think Kevin and I did a podcast or a debate one day where I think I had Derek Carr as like my top 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the NFL at the time.
You did. I remember that.
Really?
And
I
laughed
loved
at
him.
you.
I just think I wouldn't rule out a move like that, some sort of change of
Sure.
scenery move, because look at the reason we're doing this piece here is there could be a lot of movement. Similar to how last year had free agents, there's just teams I think that want to cut bait this year.
Sure. Cleveland is not
Move
even
right
worth talking about.
No, move right
Dallas is interesting because
Dallas
Jerry
is polarizing.
Jones.
They need to be interesting, and I don't know that they are.
No,
Did you hear Jerry
yes,
Jones?
well,
Yes.
that's what I mean. He's crazy.
He just said Dak is getting extended.
He's crazy.
Who says that in the media? Nobody.
Well, it's again back to the Mike Brown Bengals point. They operate unlike any other NFL team because Jerry operates unlike. To give Dak Prescott a contract extension would get anyone else fired other than the guy who's the GM who owns the team. What has he done to deserve? Matter of fact, to me, he's closer than getting rid of him than he is giving him an extension.
But here's the thing. If I'm Dak Prescott, I'm not sure I'm saying yes to that extension right now. I'm not sure I'm saying yes. Number one, this franchise appears to be going backwards.
They're a floundering franchise.
Number two, they need to pay other positions right now. Right now, they need wide receivers. They need another tight end. They need maybe. I don't know.
By the way, they
Elliott's.
just traded what might be a top 10 pick for a wide receiver.
So they can't build through the draft. Not next year. I think signing Dak Prescott right now would hurt them financially. Right? Because they've got to build. DeMarcus Lawrence is on a franchise
no
tag.
sense. What has Dak
so many
Prescott
other
done
needs.
other than a rookie year with the NFL's leading rusher and the best line in football? So when you've needed your quarterback, which every team does, to carry your team, he has shown no ability whatsoever to do it. Which is why he was, and I thought Colin Cowherd, I was watching him just yesterday, and I thought he described Dak
I've
Prescott
lost you now.
perfectly in saying he was a little better Tim Tebow.
That's fine. I'd put him in the
Right?
Case Keenum
Kevin?
conversation.
Isn't that what he is? That's what he is.
It's interesting. I think Dak Prescott has a lot of talent.
Yeah.
And I think that line is not performing where it needs to
And
be.
they're hurt.
Yes. And
But that's where your quarterback's supposed to step up. The good ones do.
all right, but who the hell's he had to throw to?
I hate these weapons. Amari Cooper's a godsend for
Right.
Dak Prescott.
Yes.
Honestly, he's a godsend.
I mean, Beasley is.
He's had Witten. He had Des Bryant. You know, I mean,
was pretty good, though. He's pretty good,
had
though.
some guys.
That year he was pretty good.
Yes.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like
if Des Bryant is so great, how come it's taking him so? What the Saints are supposedly going to sign him? That's the latest rumor.
It could be. They've
They
got a
were
couple of
working
guys
him
in.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're going to get somebody for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
just to push it down the
but
finish
I'm just
line
saying,
here.
if Des Bryant were so great, he wouldn't be available right now. in my
Well,
opinion.
or for whatever reason, he's holding out for something unrealistic, which is the only explanation I can think of. Because I guarantee there are teams that wanted to sign him. He probably didn't want to sign there
he didn't want to pay. He
Didn't want to sign with Cleveland
because he doesn't
Yeah.
think he's a third or fourth wide receiver anywhere, which is frankly what he is right
Well,
now.
that's what he's going to be with New Orleans. What is he, I mean, right. I mean,
At least a 2, no question a 2.
he's right. Anyhow, okay. So
Stay tuned for Dak Prescott because if they do sign him and if it's significant, all that's doing is hurting them from being better.
You're really going to
everywhere
give
else.
him $20 million?
sure. Well, they're
Oh, my
they're getting a new
goodness.
coach, right? I mean,
They have to be
Jason
getting a new
Garrett's
coach.
gotta be
Who knows?
gone. He's got to be gone.
I don't know.
They need a new
Offensive coordinator.
owner, which they're never going
New
to get.
offensive coordinator, too.
I think Jerry Jones is the single biggest blame for what has turned a marquee franchise into the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think a lot of people think that way. Yeah, I think a lot of people
Yeah.
think that way.
Well, Troy Aikman
and
said it on Dallas radio.
again,
Yes,
we live in a smaller market, and it annoys the the you-know-what out of me that they're on TV as much as they are and they're talked about as much as they are for no other reason other than they happen to have the star in their helmet. There is nothing the Cowboys done in the last 10 years to be worthy of the amount of coverage that they get.
Paul, they're an iconic franchise.
Yeah, well, how
in the
long
NFL.
before you stop being an iconic franchise?
They'll always be. They'll always be.
Okay.
They'll always
So
be.
the results on the field don't have anything to do
That's
with that.
correct.
What they truly need is a non-family member GM.
Right.
But it'll never happen.
It won't happen.
Because Jerry will never allow it, nor will any good candidate go in there knowing he won't be able to make any decisions.
You're right, but that is what needs to happen: is some sort of wall between the owner and the football
Never
operations that can
Won't
be
happen.
logical about the way they spend their money, and not allow guys to come out in the media and say, "Yeah, he's going to get a lot of money from us soon." Why isn't Dak Prescott have his money bag ready at the door right now? Right? I mean, my goodness.
Right.
It's just ridiculous.
It is not. It was atypical of what you normally hear. All right, let's talk about the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, real quick. What do you think? Is he one and done? Case Keenum?
I think if John Elway can find something better, he will.
Yeah.
I think John Elway's looking hard
Hard,
for
right?
something
Hey,
better.
so hang on a second.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys, right?
So we've talked about Dalton. We've talked about Flacco.
Yep.
You know, there's talk that they liked Tyrod Taylor years ago.
Right.
I don't think Tyrod's better than Keenum, frankly.
No?
No. I don't think so. I think Keenum can do some more things through the air.
Downfield?
Than, what Tyrod can do. But they traded Demaryius Thomas,
Yeah.
right? They're
loading up a bit. Yeah,
I like the
cap-wise.
running game right now.
Me too.
That Lindsey kid is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're kind of retooling things.
I would
They
think
have
so. I would think so. Obviously, they lost their backup.
to. Yes.
in Chad Kelly.
Right.
So their current backup is Kevin Hogan. He's a one and done probably. I don't know. I mean, they could be back at square one next year.
Yes, they could.
Yeah.
Detroit, Matthew Stafford's
He's locked in.
up. I didn't even know Matt Castle was their backup.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
Stafford
plays hurt.
Yeah, Stafford plays
How
all
much
the
money
time.
has Matt Castle made in his career?
I'm gonna get that for you. Move on without
It's
me.
been
here.
a lot because of the Kansas City deal, and then
He's been enough of a starter over the years
Yeah.
to have earned some starter
I'm going to
money.
guess
Tennessee.
he's close to $45 million.
Probably
I guess he's in
yes.
that range.
Probably get
65 million.
Wow.
$65 million.
$65 million.
He should thank Tom Brady for getting
for a
hurt.
guy who never started a game at USC or started one game when he was drafted in the 7th round by the Patriots because they saw something in a guy who had never played in college. Amazing story.
That is a lot
Aaron
of money.
Rodgers, that's not even worth looking at, right?
He's gonna be there, but who else will be with him, right? Because they're gonna change everything.
I think they're
gonna blow it up around
I
him.
think they're going to blow it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I do think they're going to blow it
Yeah,
up.
Baltimore Ravens style.
I think much like Harbaugh,
Yeah.
McCarthy's run has come to an end. I
yeah,
think.
he just looks. Everything looks stale in Green
Yeah.
Bay right now.
Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson.
Just needs another year, in my opinion.
Tell you what, that guy knows how to win. He just
He's,
wins.
he's great, and they just need to make sure that he can stay healthy for another year, I think, through next year, and then it's going to be a big payday.
How about Andrew Luck and the Colts? All good.
Boy, that stabilized quickly, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
I mean, he looks great. I think Jacoby Brissett's going to be a trade guy this year. A couple of teams will be calling for him, whether it's to be an upgrade at backup or to compete for a starting role this year or next year. Luck's on a rolling guarantee from here out, so the Colts can get out when they need to. And obviously, he's one hit away.
All right, let's look
You
at
know?
Andy Dalton's next team, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You think so?
No.
Let me tell you why I don't think so.
No, I go ahead.
You know what it costs to get rid of Blake Bortles next year? $16.5 million.
Wow.
And some of that is cash. $6.5 million is cash guarantee.
What is the deal with him?
Why would they do that?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, what is the deal with him? He looks great one week, and then 2 weeks in a row, he looks like,
Look at it. It's kind of the Dak Prescott conversation. I mean, they got rid of Allen Robinson. Marquise Lee was out week 1.
Right.
He's got Dante Moncrief. He's got Keelan Cole. D.D. Westbrook's been terrible this year after a good year last year.
Franchise running back's been injured.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, the offensive line is okay, but I don't know. Nobody's helping him really out there is what I'm saying. He's got a ceiling as it is, and he's certainly not getting help by having great weapons around him right now. So,
and they're building the model that I think is becoming archaic in the NFL, which is winning with
Defense
defense.
first. That's
It
right.
doesn't work anymore. You can't hide your quarterback with a great defense. You used to be able to, not anymore. You need your quarterback to make plays because your defense is just not going to be able to do that on a week in and week out basis. And I think that's exposed Blake Bortles when they're like, Blake, we need you to win this game for us, and he's like, I can't do that. I'm not good enough.
Kansas City locked up.
My goodness,
The
yeah.
LA teams aren't worth talking about.
Rivers. When do they have to start thinking about the next?
Next year's his last year.
Okay.
Next year's his last year contractually. But he looks completely unfazed.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, he's getting a Drew Brees contract, right? He's going to stick around.
I don't think there's any doubt about that, which is why it'll be interesting. Do they draft a quarterback that they start to groom for him, or do they just say, "Well, we'll wait"? But for how long? That's if you're going to draft a quarterback relatively high this year. Again, how long are you going to make that guy sit?
We've talked about it. It's not a great draft class, right?
At this point, it does not appear to be anywhere near the way it was last year.
Yeah, so, I mean,
that doesn't mean anything because you had Watson and Mahomes.
That's right.
The year was supposed to be a down year, and those guys are very good quarterbacks.
But it also means you could probably stand to spend like a second or third round pick on somebody.
Thinking.
And just hope they're lightning in a bottle.
That's what I would think the Chargers would do. They would go, let's get a second round pick in there. We know he's flat out not going to have to play.
Is that not the Patriots model for the last decade, right?
You can trade with Buffalo and draft a quarterback who'll be lights out.
Right.
That's a reference to Mahomes just to piss Paul off. All right. Miami Dolphins need to get a quarterback.
I think the Miami Dolphins are starting over. I think 2019 is going to be a tank year. I think it has to be.
Right.
I really do. I mean, Frank Gore's their best weapon right now.
That's amazing.
I mean, what the hell are we talking about here, people?
He's
and as soon as he quits, he'll go play for the Shady Oaks retirement home team.
By the way, real quick, Frank Gore Hall of Famer?
Oh,
man. It'll take him a couple years to get there because as good as he was never dominant in my mind.
Wait, let's step back. Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer?
If Dan Fouts is in the Hall of Fame, Phillip Rivers is going.
I give him my vote, too.
That's my answer.
In. I want him in before Eli, by the way. We've talked about this.
That'll be tough.
I know.
All right. But anyways, the Dolphins.
Frank Gore career earnings.
Frank Gore career, he's
14 years in the league.
$70 million.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's 60. It's 60.
60
yeah, he
million.
never really cashed in big. I mean, 28 was his biggest contract over 4 years with San Fran.
I just feel like Frank Gore has always been really, really good, but never great.
Well, he's the Miami Dolphins' best weapon right now, and they're going to have to make a decision like this week with Tannehill because I think Tannehill's finally healthy. Osweiler has been Osweiler, right? I mean,
yes.
you know what you're going to get out of him. I don't know what you do with Tannehill. Do you just bench him so that you can cut him, right, and risk any injury guarantees, things like that? I mean, you're definitely going to cut him, right?
Yes.
They're done with Tannehill.
They have to be.
They have to be?
By the way, Frank Gore's a Hall of Famer.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
The guy's rushed for over 14,000 yards.
Are you serious?
And has 77 touchdowns. He's a Hall of Famer.
He's averaging 1,000 yards a year?
Yes. Yes.
My goodness.
According to Football Reference, 3,333 rush attempts for 14,464 yards.
Goodness.
And 77 touchdowns.
He's in.
Come on. He's in, Paul.
I'm not saying he isn't in. I just wonder if he's in the first year or not.
I'm going to say
probably not.
I'm going to say if Curtis Martin's in the Hall of Fame,
right.
Frank Gore's in the Hall of Fame.
I'm just but the only reason I would dispute that with you, Kevin, is the Hall of Fame voting will now reflect how the game has changed.
Right.
And to compare him to Curtis Martin is almost erroneous.
He's gained more yards than Curtis Martin and less rushing attempts.
And that's why he'll get in, but I do think that you have to look you have to look at things relative to the time of the game now.
But now Martin played less years, so yeah, that may help with that in less games and scored 90 touchdowns.
Gore's a
good
guy too. I mean, he's got all the boxes.
All right,
checked.
let's move ourselves.
Well, wait, I want your take on the Dolphins. Are they tanking, or are they going to go after one of these veterans and try to keep this thing afloat? What do you do?
If I'm the Miami Dolphins, I have to tank because I have to look at my division, and the Jets and Bills have done it. And, you keep saying how much longer can the Patriots go, but really, how much longer can they go? Right. So I've got to set myself up for that. Mm-hmm. And they're not right now. They're not.
Is Luke Falk going to be the guy going forward? That's their 7th-round draft pick from last year.
No.
So they've got to get that guy in the roster then, right?
Yes.
I mean, they've got to identify the next guy in. Is it Derek Carr?
Could be.
Right? I mean,
for some reason, that seems like it makes some sense.
Couldn't they go that route?
Could be Jameis Winston. We haven't gotten to Tampa Bay yet, have we?
No.
We don't really need to.
T comes after him.
Well, I understand that. We're 35 minutes in. We're not even going to get down to the T's here.
We're getting there.
Minnesota is not no need to discuss there.
No, he's locked in, yeah.
New England, though.
Yeah.
Right? They've got to draft a quarterback.
Here's the situation. I'll give you some numbers. Math. Early morning math. Brady's going to make $15 million next year.
That's preponderous.
And his cap hit is $27 million next year.
Okay.
Okay, so really, neither side is going to be happy with next year coming into this, right? Because Brady's going to want him at least. Brady wants to make at least $20 million, no question, and 27 is going to stop them from doing what they need to do next year. I think he's going to play. So do you re-sign him?
Brady said in relation to the Aaron Rodgers matchup this past weekend that he fully intends to be there the next time these two teams play, which is in 2022, I believe.
How would you not listen? The guy,
and I don't doubt him. I don't doubt him.
He's in phenomenal shape.
All right, then you have to give him a new contract.
Yes, you do.
Because you can't have him on $27 million cap figure next year.
No.
You can't do it. So you're going to give him a new contract this offseason, and this clock is going to reset. So sorry, AFC East.
Right. The New Orleans Saints, one of their backups is going to be gone.
Bridgewater's going to walk in free agency.
Okay.
I would assume because, Breeze is locked in for next year.
Right.
Based on how this 2-year, $50 million deal kind of stretches out. So, and not to mention, he's still phenomenal. I mean,
right.
He's still Drew Brees. So he's here next year. They've got Taysom Hill locked in.
They love him, but do they love him as the quarterback of the future?
I made some notes here.
He's Tim Tebow.
I don't know. I made some notes here that they're using him because they can right now.
Yep.
Right. He's that freaky of an athlete that they can throw him out there for a slot, a slot pass. But do you think they're secretly grooming this kid? I mean, is this kid getting the Drew Brees treatment?
Sure.
I think so, yes.
It just feels like in 2020 when this thing is ready to go, he might just be a superstar.
Maybe.
Like he might just be Patrick Mahomes. He can move. He's got a cannon.
Yep.
I just think that they're sitting on burning embers right now with Taysom Hill, and they already know they have it. And Bridgewater was brought in sort of to just alleviate the stress from Taysom Hill right now because they want to use him as just whatever, the mishmash guy right now.
Right.
And Bridgewater's there just to protect Breeze in the interim.
They're using him as the Steelers used Cordell Stewart before he became a starting quarterback.
That's perfect. Only I think Taysom Hill could be a little bit better.
Giants.
Ugh.
It's awesome. It's an awesome conversation.
It is a great conversation.
Eli Manning.
Because of their ignorance.
Eli Manning,
their own inability to look in the mirror.
It's even worse than that. It's Eli Manning has to play Monday night because the backup got arrested.
Right.
Like, what more do you need to say about the New York Giants?
Right. That's what I was going to mention. Loletta.
But here's the thing. We've talked about all these teams that might have to tank or what are they going to do. The Giants can't tank. You can't tank with Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham Jr. and Evan Engram on your roster and a $15 million left tackle.
They can't block.
You can't do that. Like, you can't just say, we're going to blow it up now. No, you financially and fiscally can't do that.
So they'll Band-Aid it, and they'll bring another quarterback in next year.
Who's going to be that fit?
Is it Derek Carr?
We said his name for like 17
I know.
How about Joe Flacco?
But you're not wrong.
How about Joe Flacco?
Joe Flacco might be in this conversation.
Joe Flacco makes a lot of sense.
But
they
imagine being a
screwed
Giants
this
fan.
up so much last year with the Eli Manning thing. And it's just a classic example of when the fans and everybody knows better than the team, and the team reacts to the one thing they're never supposed to react to, which is the fans and the media. Everybody knew Eli Manning's time was done. The coach knew it. They benched him. Eli was ready to be benched, and then depending on what stories you believe, Eli changed his mind, or the owners succumbed to all the pressure, and what they should have done was bench him and move on, but they went back to him and put themselves back in this position where now they can't get rid of him, and he should have been gotten rid of.
Here's the other mistakes I think the Giants made, and this is hindsight, but actually the mistake of paying Odell Beckham Jr. all that money.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know yet. We don't know
He's a dynamic performer, but he's,
It's a 2-year deal.
Okay.
It's a lot of cash, but it's New York, right?
It's New York. But the other problem is they didn't look at Brady's release time when it came to Solder, right? Right? I mean, hey, let's pay this left tackle all this money.
Oh, he's really not that good? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you don't
You
have
mean
to.
almost everybody that leaves New England is never that good again?
But, I mean, New England, this is the beauty of New England. Brady's so quick on the release, they don't need great linemen.
Nope.
No.
Hey,
More teams need to figure this out.
Right. Hold
They
the
really
guy.
do.
Hold the guy for a second. That's all I need.
What do you do here? Honestly, what do you do? I mean, is this Tyrod Taylor?
I
what
would
do?
No. You need a passer to hit Odell the ball.
Manning can't start the rest of the season. They
going
have to
to.
make the move somewhere to really. Lauletta's the only other option, right? They got rid of Davis Webb, right?
Let me give you a name here. Let me give you a name that I've been thinking about for this team for 8 weeks now. It's going to cost them.
Can I guess?
It's going to cost them.
Is it just a trade or free agent?
It's a trade, and it is going to cost them.
Can I guess?
A lot. Multiple firsts.
It's Derek Carr.
No. What? Multiple firsts for Derek Carr? No. Think bigger. Think Wester.
Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson
Really?
Jr. the third. Russell
Really?
Wilson is. It's going to be a big 8 weeks for Seattle. If the Seattle Seahawks go down the tank here, which could very possibly happen, Russell Wilson has 1 year left next year. He's in a contract year in 2019, and he's 29, just like Cam Newton, right? And Russell Wilson is going to get paid. He's going to get $175 million somewhere. And if Seattle doesn't want to buck that up, or if he doesn't want to stay there for a rebuild, we've talked about this with Russell. Tell me the Giants aren't a phenomenal option for Russell Wilson, and tell me he's not a phenomenal option for the weapons they have right now.
Russell Wilson's a phenomenal option for any team. Mm-hmm. Any team.
But a team like the Giants who fiscally cannot break it down right now. They cannot rebuild. They need somebody to step in tomorrow and fix this team.
It's really interesting, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I just don't know whether Seattle would be willing to pull the trigger on getting.
Well,
rid
the
of him
Giants
or
would
not.
have to completely overpay.
Right.
I mean, just we're going to change your franchise because this guy needs to change ours right now, kind of situation.
Right.
Yeah. But I want to put that out there because
And here's the last thing on the Giants. It makes me feel like they are the opposite, and they've always been linked to the Patriots because of the Belichick connection and the Super Bowls. They're doing exactly what Belichick never does.
Hang on too
which
long.
is Belichick knows how to take the emotion out. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many people buy your jerseys. I don't care how many commercials you do. If you
Super Bowls
stink,
you've won.
I'm getting rid of you. And what the Giants didn't do with Eli Manning was he stinks. Get rid of him. They have been too locked into the name, the persona, the legacy.
Yes.
So he won 2 Super Bowls. Great. Love it. Frame those
so
pictures
sick
from the
of hearing
parade. But he's terrible. He's terrible.
So you have no opinion on Eli Manning?
None.
Okay, great. Pittsburgh, they drafted Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
Ben.
But Dobbs was the quarterback that came in the other day as the backup.
I do think it's a competition for next man up. Does Ben play next year?
Yes.
He looks good.
Yeah,
but
he
does
looks
he
good,
wanna
and they're
play?
winning, and yeah, I think he does.
He wants to play. So
Yeah,
I
think so.
Is that going to be it for him? He seems like he's beat up pretty good.
I think as long as they keep winning and he feels good and he hasn't been too beat up, I think he'll keep playing.
This is completely unfair, and I'm going to apologize in advance, Ben, but has anybody had a more unathletic-looking face to go with the body? No, I'm just saying. No, what I'm saying is he looks like he looks super heavy, right?
Yeah.
But he's in great shape, and the guy can move.
Oh, he can take a hit, man.
He has mastered the art of movement skills of
All right.
2 yards.
Right?
But even if his movement's awkward, like everything about him
but
is
he's great
awkward.
at it. He's great at it.
He's got a fat face. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Well, he's a 245-pound quarterback. I mean, right?
Okay. Remember Yarrow Spacek?
Yes.
Yeah. Fat face?
Yes. Same thing.
Okay.
And
But
he would
was a
even
good player.
He
By the
would
way,
even laugh about it.
Those are the kind of details we do not track on Spectrum.
Yes. No. There's no
I can't
fat
believe you
face
guys-
index.
Get this TMZ stuff out of here, man.
You're laughing because you know it's true.
Well, I don't know if it's true. I would take him in a heartbeat as my quarterback.
I would
I'll tell you
too.
that.
He's a Hall of Famer. There's no question. Listen, I'm not. Listen,
goodness.
look at a Ben Roethlisberger post game interview, and you'll see, wow, he does have a big face. I do too.
When he's riding that motorcycle, it's all flapping behind him. Is
Now
that what you're
you
saying?
said that, not me. He clearly wears a helmet now. All right. Anyway, let's. We can't have any fun
Next.
on the show. Wow. All right,
Are
Ben.
we, are we
hang on.
glossing over the Raiders?
Hang on. I'm apologizing to Ben Roethlisberger.
We got to gloss over. We got to go back to the Raiders here.
I got out of order. Derek Carr.
Who here in
yes.
this room thinks Derek Carr is the 2019 quarterback for Oakland? I do.
How can
I think
I've
Gruden
said it-
sees things
Yeah.
in him. I do.
Yeah, I think he gets one more year there. I know we've said his name with like 11 teams, but I think they have to try for one more year. I think they have to try because they have to replace everyone
And they have
else in the
so
team.
many other holes
Yeah,
to fill.
I mean you can't fill them all, right? So he's got to be serviceable next year. That team has to be serviceable as they transition to the Vegas. To me, he's better than what they're going to find.
Are they going next year?
I think it's after next
still
year.
to be determined.
I think it's going to be after next year.
Yeah, the
but they don't
stadium
have
isn't going to be ready till
Right, but they don't have a lease.
20, right?
Yeah, we've talked about this. London,
yeah,
right?
the stadium won't
The
be
London
ready.
Raiders?
Right. Yeah, you're right. Because the
San Diego Raiders?
lease is up in Oakland after this year, but the stadium won't be ready till 2020.
I think they should play it where the University of Nevada plays and be the Reno Raiders until they go to.
Nice. What is that, like 9,000 seats?
Yeah.
That might be about right for the next
Be
year.
a tough ticket. That's a good spot to go. You've been there, right, Paul?
I have been. It's actually a cool little spot. Seats
spot.
about 25,000 probably.
Yes.
You want to move them right now. You want to get them out of Oakland right now.
No, I think they should stay in Oakland, frankly, but they're going to Vegas. So
That's too bad.
I'm a traditionalist. Anyways. All right. The Cardinals are still being St. Louis. That's how far back. Neil Lomax. I'm kidding.
Love Neil.
Well,
back.
you guys are like all serious here. We know all the humor.
Jim
I'm
Hart.
still working on the.
Remember Jim Hart?
No, I don't remember Jim Hart. I remember
was
Jim
great.
the Anvil Neidhart.
No.
The Hart Foundation.
Okay.
Bret Hart, the hitman. All right. Boy, as we're working our way down the list here, we've talked about Seattle and Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Big last 8
Philly,
weeks.
we can skip over.
How about let's go to San Fran. Let's go to
San Fran's interesting
Yeah, it
because
is.
their
It is.
backups are playing great.
They're serviceable for sure. And
Yes,
and
but
That's Garoppolo.
by the way, don't forget that was basically a big fancy 1-year deal for Garoppolo. So at this point on, they can get out when they need to. They're not going to get out, and they're going to give him 2019. There's no question in that. But contractually, the structure of it, he's made his money. He's done. They can get out of it tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't. He's the future there.
Yeah.
And there's no reason not to think that he won't be the future. Just I think he's great.
I just interesting. Beathard came in, played great.
Yeah. Don't you think
And then
Nick
Mullins comes
he's
in.
going to play again
Yes.
Monday night?
Yes.
He's going to get what's coming to him, right?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
From that crazy Giants
a week
defense.
a week of figuring out what he can do will expose who he is.
How about
Yes.
that for ESPN, by the way, back-to-back weeks? Titans, Cowboys goes to San Fran Giants.
Well, when you hitch your wagon to the big markets teams, regardless of whether they're any good or not, that's what you get.
My goodness, the NBA is very happy right now.
Yes. Yes, they are. All right. Tampa Bay.
Nobody's going to be under contract next year.
No, brand new quarterback.
They're going to rip that $21 million away from Winston. Fitz is free agent. Griffin's free agent. None of them come
Who's
back.
the starter there next year? No idea.
Tyrod Taylor.
Sure,
Might be
sure.
with another drafted rookie,
Yeah,
high drafted rookie.
With a new head coach.
I don't know.
I think the GM's in his last year of his contract, so that may have something to do with it too.
I don't know. I don't know if they can completely overhaul. I mean, there's some veterans that have to go for sure. I mean, Deshaun Jackson needs to get out of there, right? I like Mike Evans. I like the tight ends.
Yeah, Mike Evans is great. Safarian Jenkins, yes.
No, he's in Jacksonville now.
Oh, Jacksonville. I'm sorry.
They've got some good players on
No,
defense.
who's the other
some
guy
good
there?
linebackers.
O.J. Howard and
O.J.
Cameron
Howard.
Brate.
Right.
Yeah.
O.J. Howard's the
So
guy
they're it could be bad though. They might just have to rip it off, right?
Tennessee, boy, did Mariota look good the other night.
Okay, so this is my point on Mariota, right?
He looked
'Cause
good the other night.
He looks great, then he doesn't, right? I mean,
Yes.
he's sort of that kind of player. He's kind of Derek Carrish, right?
Yeah.
But he's got the $21 million next year too that Jameis Winston has. They're going to keep him,
Yes.
sign him. I've heard now he's the next $100 million man too. Do you sign Mariota
Yes, I think he's good.
right now? You sign him?
I think he's good.
I think he's good enough.
Yeah.
It's not great. You hope he's going to get better, but he's good enough.
Okay, I think I'm with you on that too. I mean, there's obviously a path where he plays out next year and then gets franchise tagged. I don't think Tennessee deals with that. I think they've got too much else to deal with, and signing him this year could actually lower that $21 million next year cap wise. So to me, that's just a smart move if you like enough about this guy, which I think they do.
And the Redskins for the Alex Smith trade.
Redskins are actually in good shape. I mean, Smith and McCoy are locked in next year as his backup, so they're probably pretty happy with that as far as what they've gotten from Smith. His cap hits are like $20 million. You're not going to get elite production out of him, but you're also not paying elite against the cap. So,
And the cap's
if they
going
do
to
it right,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's going to go up because
So
they're
if-
going to make all this money from Fortnite and the skins deal that they have, by the way.
I guess my point is, though, if they actually do something right in Washington and sign the right players this offseason, this could be a perennial top of the NFC East team.
You guys have no idea what I was talking about with Fortnite and the NFL.
I do,
skins.
actually. The jerseys, the licensing,
Yes.
I saw that. It's big. They're going to make a ton of money off
They're
this.
going to make. They got some of the Sylvester money.
Why the Redskins and not everybody else?
No,
the
that's-
whole league.
The whole league. Yeah.
It's called a skin, what you could put on your
Yeah, you can dress your character now
avatar.
Okay.
Yes,
in Bill's J.P. Lawsman jerseys.
I'm pretty
Can
sure.
I
he
get
did
that from my Commodore 64?
You can try.
You can try.
We should probably sell it, by the way. It's probably worth a lot of money.
It probably is, frankly. Okay.
Last thing. Let's get to our obligatory Le'Veon Bell
Yeah,
discussion.
Le'Veon Bell,
Just 2
yes.
minutes of Le'Veon Bell. Well, let's off the top. What do you think? Because nobody knows.
I think they have no interest in bringing him
He
back.
left Miami. He's
They have
on
no
his way
interest.
back.
They have no interest in bringing him into a locker room that is operating pretty well right now. Why would you bring that into it now? You don't need him.
You bring him back because you're not the Chiefs, right?
I guess.
And because he
can make you better. I see your point, yes.
Yeah, because they're not thinking
You're
about
good,
the division
you could
anymore.
be better with him there.
Right?
I get it.
I think they pretty much substantiated themselves in that division, finally, after 6 miserable weeks. But they're thinking January now, right?
Yeah. No, I see your point.
Yeah, I mean,
I see your point.
I think the Chargers are better than them right now. I think the Chiefs are definitely better. The Patriots are better. They're maybe 4th or 5th in the AFC. And if Le'Veon Bell can catch 6 balls a game for you, you're better.
Yeah, that will test Mike Tomlin's locker room management, though. I mean, unless the players are just like, okay, he can help us win, fine. But he's not going to be happy. It's going to be disruptive.
He's not going to try.
He's not going to try. Things are, I just think it's a bit of a challenge to bring him back in there.
This has been a major backfire for him, though, hasn't it?
It's been awesome. We all want these guys to do this. We do. We want these guys to hold out for money that they are owed. I mean, Le'Veon Bell's been outstanding. And, yeah, it's just been completely thrown back in his face because James Conner's awesome.
Conner's been amazing.
Well,
yes.
And it's a little bit Patriot-like that whether it was James Conner or anybody else with Roethlisberger and Brown and Schuster, you could have plugged anybody in there and they would have been good to very good.
You're right. This was just another piece, another cog in that wheel, and that's what we're seeing in Pittsburgh. And maybe they didn't know how good they were, right? Isn't that what we're seeing?
We spent this whole hour talking about quarterbacks, and there's another one, Roethlisberger. Doesn't matter what you give him or who you give him, he makes them great, and that's what That's what every quarterback on that list and every team aspires to get, a quarterback who elevates the players around him, no matter what. And from a financial and team management perspective, okay, we can get rid of really good player A and put really good player B in, and we won't skip a beat because our quarterback will allow us to stay at that level. And there are very few guys. There's maybe 5 or 6 guys in the league that have the ability to do that.
Paul, actually, I love this discussion because I don't even think it's about Ben. It's about the Steelers system, right?
Yeah, but I think Ben is the one that, just like Brady makes the Patriots system, Ben makes the Steelers system.
Sure, but I think Pittsburgh should get a lot more
how else do
credit
you explain
for this.
Antonio Brown as a 6th-round draft pick, becoming at times the most dominant wide receiver in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, good for them all over the board. I mean, they got Ben Roethlisberger out of the MAC, right?
That's right.
It's not like they went to the Power 5 conferences.
Antonio Brown as well, too.
Yeah, right.
I think it goes hand in hand, with that. I mean,
Tomlin's got to get some credit for this.
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger, you can argue, he made Antonio Brown. You can argue the other side of it. Antonio Brown
gets open
there for
he gets open.
Right?
But I'm always going to lean towards 60-40 quarterback to weapons.
Sure. It matters.
Matter of fact, that may be a little low.
I'll give you a example. All right, let's talk about Jerry Rice. Okay? Did he...
that's an awful conversation.
What's that?
Rice versus Montana?
Hold on a second. But didn't Rice also Steve Young?
Yeah.
Okay. So Rice was great with 2 different quarterbacks.
Fair.
Right? Maybe even 3.
Or was it the system?
Didn't What's-His-Face come in with Rice, too, at the end of his career? Or was Rice with the Raiders?
Well, T.O. came in with Young.
No, okay. I'm thinking of the other guy after Young.
It's a nice conversation. I mean,
Jeff Garcia.
Jeff Garcia.
Oof, nice. What happens to Brown after the post Ben? That's an interesting conversation too, right?
I think he's still a hell of a wide receiver. Is what I guess my point.
Last comment on Le'Veon Bell, because we're hearing this more and more, in spite of everything we're saying with Pittsburgh right now. If he doesn't come back, or
at all, sits out the rest of the season.
Let's say he doesn't come back. Let's say he doesn't come back in 7 days when he needs to come back, and that means his franchise tag is dissolved. He's done for the year. See you in March 13th, right? When the league year starts. There's a legitimate chance that the Pittsburgh Steelers pop a tag on him again.
Just to
control his rights.
Control.
Sure.
They want the control.
Right.
And maybe it's a transition tag this time, which essentially is a percentage of what he's made before, except for he didn't make anything this year. So you're going to get yourself into a big lawyer NFLPA discussion fight with what salary do we base it on? Is it the standard running back transition tag, which is going to be like $9 million, which is ridiculous? Or is it going to be a version of the 14.5 he didn't take, or the 12-1 he made 2 years ago? Or it's going to be so much fun math.
Is there any doubt in your mind, because there's none in mine, that in people in his home stadium next year will be chanting B-E-L-L, Bell, Bell, Bell?
You mean the Jets?
Correct.
He should have been there this year.
Isn't that where he's going?
But
Isn't that where he goes? They're desperate. They need it. They have cap room.
Yeah.
He wants to play in a big market. He wants to resuscitate his image. That seems like an incredible marriage.
They might have to give the Steelers an offer sheet, though, to get him, is my point.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
If I'm the Steelers, I'm controlling his rights.
Yeah. At this point, it's pretty ugly, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's ugly.
It's
What do you
mind
think?
blowing.
What do you think? We'll finish off here. Does he come back for the last 6 weeks?
Yes, because I think he wants some money.
Sure.
I think he'll see the business value in doing it. But I think the better question is, do the Steelers really want him back or not?
I think it's a yes. I think it's a yes on all accounts. $5+ million for a couple weeks of work.
Holidays are coming up, man.
Yeah, you got to pay.
Yeah, you got bills to pay, Paul.
Right. Yeah. Hey, this was fun. This was fun going through every team like this. I had a lot of fun with this. This was good.
I had no doubt that whatever's going on in that kind of larger head for his body.
Yeah.
See, I'm coming back to that.
Fat face. Got
fat
it.
face of yours.
That's obviously
I'm
the name of this
Paul.
podcast
I'm
now.
kidding, Paul. Right? We relax.
I'm a little puffy from all the drugs I'm taking.
That's what I'm saying. I had no doubt whatever was going on in there would be suppressed when we got in the flow of
Anytime you talk quarterbacks, all hands are off.
The Peckmeister
You made me
brings
feel
it
better
forward.
today. Good job, guys.
All right. Hey, a couple of things. Give us a good rating. Well, you can rate us. I'm just telling you. If you enjoy the show, give us a rating on iTunes or wherever you get this podcast. Spotify.
Pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I listen to Spotify a lot. And make sure you check out the premium offerings at spottrack.com. You'll get more of Mike, less of us, but you get all these. You get an ad-free experience, more importantly. And so you don't have things popping up and all that great stuff there. So make sure you check that out. For Mike Giannetti and Paul Peck, I'm Kevin Sylvester. Thanks for listening to the SpotTrack.com podcast.